The way. So right there, Gucci Mane has finally, at the very least, he's addressed some of the accusations and the conversations that's been having right now. He's really speaking about the event that took place in Dallas, Texas. Shouts out to Dallas, Texas, too, by the way, the Triple D and the Fort Worth boys. But he says here on the track Crash Dummy that he's basically been betrayed. They tried to set him up like Suge did Dre. This ain't back in the day. And he's basically, in all efforts, calling Crash Dummy Shiesty a fucking idiot.
I think it's a good move strategically. He's trying to get ahead of the curve because he doesn't want his career to be over and the brand he built to be over. We had a lot of sources tell us that there was a white exec or someone involved that set both of them up. Allegedly, $60 million being on the table. We do not know how true this is, but $60 million being put on the table, and that's the gasoline that encouraged Pooh Shiesty to do what he did. While other rumors are saying that Pooh Shiesty believed he earned some of that money, that $24 million that allegedly, we talking about Goo Up, made while Pooh Shiesty was in prison. So people are bringing up that $24 million, whether it's $60 million from a white exec being offered to Pooh Shiesty, or Pooh Shiesty being irritated with Gucci Mane making millions off of him while he's in prison. Millions of dollars is the reason why all of this happened. And he's definitely trying to get ahead of it. Shout out to Nettie, who's been on this story since day one. Especially someone who is actually from, that particular type of background. He's been on this particular story. So it will be really interesting also to see what he thinks about this track. But I think this is a nice attempt from Gucci Mane. Prince, do you think it'll work?
No, the internet is a giant troll. And listen, I like the track. I actually like the track. I think it's got a nice smooth bop. It's just give you some of that normal Gucci Mane flavor that he's delivered on the past records, and I can see myself, if it comes on a rando list, I'm not going to necessarily turn from him. And he's kind of always addressed any sort of issues, even going back to The Truth, where they had the Pookie Loke nigga from Macon, Georgia, slide up there into Decatur to Killville and try to smoke Gucci, and then he's pretty much ended his life. And then you had NBA YoungBoy, he kept spazzing out. And then Gucci put out the record Publicity Stunt, and he was talking about, well, goddamn, right? And, for the most part, Gucci has actually addressed people directly or situations surrounding aspects of the controversial moments of his career. This track here, I think the track is going to reinforce the hardcore Gucci supporters that are fans of him and everything that he does. I think they're going to ride with the track. The people right now that they're into the idea of finding out who's a snitch, because, they are Inspector Gadget online, and a lot of times these individuals have never been in the streets. But with that being the case, look, it's just another round of a rapper who is an aspect of the internet is being demythologized into becoming or transformed into a snitch or saying that this person told. I do think it's interesting on the back end that there are darker hands in the room. There are darker high-figure players. And, if you guys know here on Patreon, we've covered a little bit at it, if not extensively, that other key figures usually be in the rooms. And you had to think about this. When he said crash dummy, he's also talking about you've been sent. Crash dummies get sent.
Oh, this is the Yo Gotti part we was trying to explain, but it was clipping up. For y'all who remember, we tried to do a live Patreon show on it, but it just kept acting up. But yes, there are some people who are also rumors that Yo Gotti could have also been one of the shadow figures of encouragement besides this mysterious white exec that was possibly offering $60 million.
So I think the track in itself is kind of falling into the same gamut. And also, I do keep this in mind too, by the way. I don't know, what is Gucci? He's in his 40s now, late 40s, or whatever the case may be.
He's a young Gen Xer, so right. He has to be in his between
mid 40s.
Late 40s.
Yeah, mid 40s to late 40s. Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you all. Listen, I think the people that want to stay in the game of super nigga fantasies, these are the people that are going to be overly dissecting everything without mentioning a lot of the stuff that goes on in these high end offices. Now, sitting now, we talked about even, a couple of years ago that there were certain execs that were talking across the pond for certain individuals that lost a particular battle. And then now those companies, people are starting to see their names flow up 2 years later after we broke it on our Patreon and we touched on it on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, these rappers, a lot of times they don't move on their own, unless it's in a really dire, desperate situation. But I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody like Pooh Shiesty, who had the eye of the street nigga industry and street nigga culture, which drives a lot of what you're seeing on TikTok and Instagram and all over social media, including Twitter. A lot of people were paying attention to him. He even dropped his own version called FDO First Day Out. It was the first video that he put out there. I think it got somewhere between 30 million, maybe 40 million views or something like that. So clearly there was an excitement there to get him going. But here's the thing about it. Let's say that Pooh Shiesty's out here, and they looked at NBA YoungBoy. They got some of the other guys, 4-2 Doug. They disappear, they come, they go. Some of them die, right? So you got Pooh Shiesty, right? He's right there, Memphis, Tennessee. He's got a song out there. He knows how to make street bangers, street hits. He knows how to bring something interesting to those particular picnics where people try to have car shows and shootouts take place. So y'all know crackers with ties, they love that shit, right? But they're looking at Gucci. We got to get him up out of this country nigga's hands. And Pooh Shiesty, think about it. You're supposed to meet for a business deal or a business meeting or discuss where you are dissatisfied with your contract, Shiesty, and you bring Russian automatic weapons. Ladies and gentlemen, that means more than likely a promise was made to Pooh Shiesty somewhere, because think about this. First of all, you're getting Gucci Mane to sign the contract to release you. Okay, where the fuck are you going to go after that? That means somebody would have taken that contract under duress, which is an illegal situation. You can't do that. If it's proven that someone was signing a contract under duress, the contract would literally be null and void. So apparently they were going to take the contract and go somewhere where money or more money was promised, because Pooh Shiesty had all this buzz around his name. You get what I'm saying? So even Gucci Mane hinting to Pooh Shiesty being a crash dummy. And also, Shiesty is not necessarily the brightest bulb in the shed, to be honest with you, but still, it kind of corroborates what Sin and I were told about somebody making an offer and a promise. And of course, there's some other names, including Gotti's name is, as you guys see right now, it's starting to float on the internet a little bit. And that information is probably going to come out a little bit more. And I think Gucci Mane, if I want to be honest, just reviewing the track, I actually feel like he was a little bit more conservative here on this track. I don't think he really went in and exposed anything. He just mocked a little nigga like, it's your dumb ass. But it sounds like he is withholding some other information.
Yeah, I'm not on anybody's side on this, because I don't really care about all that gang street shit. It's not really my cup of tea. But I am interested in any shadowy type of information, whether it's FBI, CIA, underworld, gang stuff, whatever. No dog in this fight. Some people claim that Gucci Mane is horrible with his artists pertaining to contracts. Some people have even talked about how some of his artists have ended up dead. But at the same time, I don't know what the cause of death is, and I haven't seen the contracts or know the contracts to know if they are as bad as people claim they are. Also, Pooh Shiesty has had his own history of criminal activity, and going in there and doing what he did, we'll see. Now, there were some people online saying, well, the feds said they don't have no evidence that Pooh Shiesty is in any wrongdoing. So then you have that as well. Like, what is going to, he's arrested right now. And he was denied bail. But you also had some outlets saying that there's no real hardcore evidence to say he did any wrongdoing. So all of this is like a circus. Once the fog clears out, though, Prince, we're definitely going to see a clearer view as to what happened behind the scenes and what's going on in this situation.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you reminded me of that, because let me tell you something real quick. Record labels work with the feds. The feds work with the record labels. If anybody learned about doing the research of Bad Boy and Death Row Records, there were feds all through both of their camps. It wasn't just Bad Boy, because people got this mindset like, oh, Diddy, he was the feds. Oh, the Bad Boy was the feds. And Tupac, he was this young Malcolm X nigga. And Death Row Records, they hit the front line of defense with the Crips and Bloods, and they was going to free Black America. No, dumb nigga. The feds were everywhere, just like they've been everywhere with rock and roll. They've been giving rock and rollers, a lot of rock stars, their drugs, get them on, put them in a room with 14-year-old girls, even if they're not interested in that, and they just take pictures. Gotcha, bitch. Now you're going to sign the contract. Hey, man, don't put that out there about me. So going back to the Fed aspect of it, because you guys got to keep in mind, they move pretty damn fast with this situation. Folks, if anything, Pooh Shiesty has the number one clout right now. If the feds are alluding through these websites that we don't have anything, and, if Gucci wants to maintain his rep, I don't think the big guy's going to necessarily cooperate. Pooh Shiesty may get a little bit of a smack on the wrist, but he could easily be back on the streets and already being seen as the new nigga god. Remember now, this nigga kingdom are switchable sheets. This is what goes on. They exchange these chairs around so much.
Trying to say that Pooh Shiesty work with the feds. I know, like, Whack 100 don't always be telling the truth, but he did get one in when he said Tory Lanez was in some trouble, and then he did get stabbed multiple times. So he doesn't be telling the truth all the time. He is full of it. And also shout out to Florida Boy, because you said Whack 100 cheated you, and we definitely support the members of our audience. But do you think there has any truth to that about Pooh Shiesty, being a part of the feds, or what Whack 100 was trying to claim?
That could be the case, because, again, every street nigga has been called the feds, including Whack, right? But the other side is this.
I mean, he had that cop phone?
Yeah, right. Now, the conversation, though, even though that Whack made that statement, and until something publicly indicts Pooh Shiesty, publicly, again, I'm going to say that if something publicly indicts Pooh Shiesty, then you will see the narrative change. But right now, the narrative is that Gucci is a snitch. So, again, it would be great marketing for Pooh Shiesty. I'm just calling an ace and ace, a spade a spade. Look, I told you guys when this news first broke, I said that's going to be a very disruptible tear in Gucci's, otherwise pretty much spotless nigga record online.
No, to your point, I don't believe no one until hardcore facts come out. When Offset got shot in the ass, people said he ratted, then come to find out he didn't. The guy who shot him in the ass said, Offset's a snitch, and it was confirmed that he didn't say anything to the cops. And
that it was one of his guys actually shot Offset, too, by the way.
What do you mean one of his guys?
They're saying that Lil TJ didn't actually shoot Offset. They said that it was one of his guys, and so Lil TJ, low-key looked like he might have was going to run off the clout, because they said multiple guys had got arrested, and then when he came out, then that's when he said
the video with the little niggas with the braids. It looked like him.
That is Lil TJ.
The one they were pulling up.
Yeah, that is him. But they're saying it was somebody else in his crew that shot Offset. So Offset, I believe he had responded because they said Lil TJ was like trolling, and Offset said you didn't shoot nothing. So whatever is going on there. To the point, you can't really believe anything, especially with street nigga technology, until you see something. But right now, I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing on the internet is that of the two men, Gucci's reputation right now is being cut open with open heart surgery. And I think this is a very decent song in the sense of, like, it's got a bop, it's got a bounce. But I don't feel this is the type of song or energy that's going to convince thirsty internet demons. And I'm just being honest with you. It is what it is.
That's one thing I miss about Tupac's energy, because rappers lie so much. They're like some of the biggest liars.
Yes.
Even though it got Tupac in trouble. This is not to mean Tupac is a saint. He made some mistakes in interactions with people.
Saint Paco.
But what I do like about Tupac, he wasn't a liar to the point where it got him in trouble. You know, when he got into it with people, he'll be honest about his perspective. A lot of rappers is like wrong or right. It's just that they lie. They just like so you just
don't
gotta
know.
wait.
Yeah, you gotta
wait for the truth to come out because they just lie every day.
Well, because
every day I'm lying.
Around Tupac's era, there was this only thing about bad publicity. Bad pub is what they were saying. Today, it's clout. So, people will claim things to add more to their clout. But I feel like if anything proceeds any further, and Gucci Mane, if he's adhering to the nigga kingdom code that he claims to adhere to, then he's more than likely not going to cooperate with investigators. And if there's nothing really to report on, then there's a good chance that Pooh could be back out on the streets. I know people, they may like how, but Hernandez was, basically linked as the killer of Young Dolph, and he back out on the streets, on streams with academics, talking about people, including Gucci Mane. Again, Hernandez, looks like, I'm going to be real with you. Looks like that old Memphis Atlanta shit then got kicked back up again quietly at this point in time. So we'll see exactly what is going to take place.
Gucci was pro Young Dolph too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so there's that whole situation. Because wasn't there people was trying to say that Gucci Mane woman was with Yo Gotti. Then people said there was beef between Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane. Yeah. So it's all
like
this
Gotti really be getting into it allegedly behind the ladies.
That big ass forehead be doing a lot of work.
He liked them fat leg women just sitting in Oreo cookies, a tub of Oreo cookies.
Not just even with the woman prince, but his name be brought up in a lot of mess.
I mean, look at it. He got a pastor head. Come on, that nigga a troublemaker. Get the fuck out of here. A nigga, absolutely not, bro. You look like you got all the pork chop in the back of your head.
This was supposed to be only exclusively on Patreon, but this was a good one. We're going to have it up for y'all on YouTube as well. And we appreciate all y'all. For Patreon people, we're going to have another part of this that's going to be exclusive where we go more into some of the theories with Yo Gotti, more into the theories of who this mystery investor could be possibly for Pooh Shiesty, with some people claiming or what we was told by some sources that $60 million was put on the table for Pooh Shiesty if he can get out of the contract that he had.
It's very important
with Pooh Shiesty. And then also right now what they're saying already in all the reports where people are claiming, well, Pooh Shiesty did this because he felt Gucci Mane made he saw that Gucci Mane allegedly made $24 million off of him while he was in prison. So you have that allegation out there too.
That also could be a spin narrative too, to promote this the nigga Robin Hood theory behind Pooh Shiesty, that there was some morality, justice that was being served. All right, so we'll see. But as it stands right now, I don't think the song is all that bad, but is it what the public is looking for? They want the truth Gucci. They want pregnant Gucci. They think that, maybe he's going to slide back into where he was back in the day with the Pookie Loke stuff that took place. But I don't think that any of that's happening. But it does sound like to me he actually was rapping pretty conservative on this track, which leads us to believe that there's other things tied to the situation. And again, until Pooh Shiesty actually breaks his silence at this point in time, the interest of the conversation is now going to shift into, well, what does Pooh Shiesty has to say?
Well, your point is proven, Prince. Yeah. I'm looking on X, all the street niggas, all the gang niggas are saying his ass.
I know, I already knew it.
They said the track is ass and he's still snitching.
Yeah, so that's what I said. You got to understand, there were investors and there were other ops that were ready to move forward with Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty's younger. He seems to be more relevant to the general nigga culture. I'm talking about the nigga street nigga culture. And let's just be real, man. Gucci Mane is the old man on the hill right now, And he's going to be moving with a little bit more conservative strides, and he's not going to really crash out on any track. He really didn't even do it when NBA YoungBoy was getting at him. He was actually just kind of like mocking him on the track, like, I thought in 2000 and such you wanted to be Gucci, right? So I just think this record is going to be dissected, and the mythology of Gucci Mane will be further broken down and sacrificed on the table, and we're going to see what strange situations are going to be tied to Pooh Shiesty's potential incarceration or further incarceration, or will he be back out on the streets all day like OJ? Now, if he happens to, I'm not saying, I'm not the lawyer, I don't know that, but I will tell you this. If that little chihuahua face Rockwilder looking nigga ends up back on the street, he will have all of the industry's attention, and he would have far more clout right now than anyone.
21 Savage was playing Pooh Shiesty recently, and also let me read some of the comments before we wrap this up, Prince. Also, again, shout out to Seti Nash. I'm really interested to see what he thinks about the track Crash Dummy. But you have Hank Mills says, bro should have kept this in the crate and just testify. You have also Derek Hall. He says, nigga snitched again on the song. I don't know what he thought this shit was going to prove. And then some people are saying certified AI bullshit. So they're hoping that it's AI, but I think people forget
it's actually on his page.
Gucci Mane officially on his X page, he promoted this track.
No, it's on his Spotify page.
Yeah,
he's there
at midnight.
Yeah, it's him. But I already heard the record. When I heard the tone of the record, I said they're not going to like this one. And also, you got to understand about this particular culture. All right, I'll just tell you this. Look, y'all.
They wishing Prince. It felt like some of the gangsters like, I'm wishing on a star.
Look, y'all.
That this is not, they don't want it to be real.
It is. And because Gucci Mane has publicly never been in this situation. See, when you lose your street nigga jacket, they never look at you the same, right? Remember, look, Jeezy had a few bad interviews after all of that stuff took place with Gucci Mane, and I'm not talking about the verses. I'm talking about in their whole situation, their beef, right? And then they had like a Cold War. Then it kind of got started up again, and Jeezy said something to the fact that he thought Gucci Mane might be kind of slow. And then everybody laughed at Jeezy because Gucci Mane was the only one between them that publicly had killed somebody, and that took his nigga card to the next level. So people were mocking Jeezy, even though Jeezy had an incredible album run, but when that whole thing went off, Gucci Mane looked more like the gangster to the general public online, and so they rolled with voting Gucci Mane president of Nigga Central. Now, he's old. Okay, and there's a lot of shit, you know, them hips, he don't want to move around like that. And let's be real, this would be for his particular brand. What happened with him and Pooh Shiesty is a very embarrassing situation. See, Kid Cudi don't have this because when his car got blown up, yeah, people called him a snitch, but a majority, more than a majority of people, defended Kid Cudi.
Defended him, and we had the authority because him being a drug addict doesn't mean he is a part of the underworld. And we said he's not gang, leave him alone.
So him showing up in court to tell on the Black Harlem Godfather, it didn't ruin nothing. But this situation, even though Gucci Mane has not publicly, he has not went to court, he hasn't pointed out anybody in the lineup, or at least we haven't seen any footage where somebody offers him a McDonald's meal. None has happened. It's just the idea that he got tied up, allegedly, and they made him unscrew the diamonds out of his ear, and they scared him, or they quote-unquote bitched him out.
Well, to your point, you know, as a what they call normies, that's why I said I have no dog in this fight. I really don't care if this, I mean, whoever career this destroys, I mean, these people opted to be in this, I guess, gang world or gangland and all that. So it is what it is versus, you know, Kid Cudi, who got his presents ripped up and his car blown up.
That was disrespectful. Right? Like, why was Diddy going through the presents, though?
Yeah.
Like, what
it's
were you looking for?
Like, bro,
A PlayStation, nigga?
As a regular person, I gotta protect my fucking family and presence and shit. You trying to take my nieces and cousins,
And Diddy
fucking,
was so petty.
nephews, and
He gonna turn the
grandparents.
dog's bowl over.
But also,
Like, and then leave, and I'm gonna wipe my feet on your couch.
shout out to Tyson, the landlord. Shout out to him. I like a lot of his viewpoints on X. He said, "Can't even listen to it, bro."
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and again, I knew this was going to take place. Even the idea that Gucci Mane was in this situation. Look, one of the things that Gucci Mane had been celebrated for, just like 50 Cent. Well, no, unlike 50 Cent, because 50 Cent was actually, quote unquote, on record a victim because they shot him up a bunch of times, but he's a survivor. So 50's story is he's a survivor. So play Destiny's Child, he's a survivor. Rocky Balboa, he's a survivor.
I look
Gucci
at him
Mane
as a victor to be able to. I know that, you know, like what you said, people say he's a victim, but I look at it more as a victor because, like, how you have three powerful industry people on the East Coast trying to kill you, and you get to the promised land with Eminem and Dr. Dre.
There you go. You get to the promised land with that white angel, Slim Shady, standing at the top of heaven's stairs. Oh, help my black ass Eminem. Oh, help me, white boy.
50 will never, ever.
He ain't turning on Eminem.
In fact, not one black person defended 50 on that halftime show but Eminem. 50 Cent will never, ever turn his back on Slim Shady Eminem.
He wants to come back in another life as Eminem's blood brother. All right? Now, with Gucci Mane, though, Gucci Mane turned his assailants into a victim. Jeezy allegedly had gave Gucci Mane the biggest boost of his career when he put out that quote-unquote bounty. Said, man, y'all give me $10,000 for each chain. I'll give y'all $10,000 for each chain on his neck. Right? So that part is
Jeezy's career a little bit.
Yeah, it dampens it.
Gucci the upswing.
Absolutely, because it was a big deal, right? You know, and Gucci Mane walked around pregnant with ice cream tattoos on his face. He looked like he wasn't drinking water, exercising. So people liked the idea of Frankenstein Gucci. And in fact, his transformation from that was so drastic that there's a notable rumor online that this Gucci is a clone. Now, in this situation here,
that was a fun joke at the time on hip hop.
Yeah, I still think it was funny. You know, they said, look at his clone teeth. That's a clone. But in this regard here, no, Pooh Shiesty will be continue to be celebrated in this regard because, again, it's the nigga kingdom. And Gucci Mane is the older nigga on the hill. And it's kind of like the same perpetual thing you saw with Carlito and Billy Blanco.
Well,
that's really what's going on here.
They got to stop underestimating them Tennessee niggas.
Like, shit. Well, niggas know about the Tennessee niggas. They know about them.
I mean, like, you know, it's still, you know, underestimating them because one of the sources that had a conversation with us even said, like, why didn't, you know, Gucci go with the same formula of, you know, getting other talent from Atlanta or the surrounding areas, Fulton County, or, you know, other, you know, places in areas in Georgia in and of itself, you know. A lot of people were surprised with the Memphis lineup he had, and again, a lot of the Memphis people in the hip hop game and the rap game and also in the underworld game, a lot of them don't play.
I also think with the track, I don't think Gucci Mane at this ripe old age of 67, I don't feel Gucci Mane is looking to trigger any sort of backdoor Tennessee politic issues because, you know, where he's at, pretty much the Southeast, all the way going up to the DMV, Gucci Mane still moves around in a certain manner. And again, there seems to be some other hotter things that are taking place right now. Look, I mean, it is what it is. Niggas round line, the little nigga demons. This nigga old. I'm not trying to be funny. He's older now. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but when people fuck around with the streets, it's not that the streets will have mercy on you because you're older. It's just that now you're starting to reconsider some things at this point in time. I don't think right now that we're going to be seeing any aggressive action on the end. Now, if we see some residuals on the back end of certain things may take place, I do think we're going to be seeing some of that, though.
the reason why I said wait, the point that you talked about with not activating it, isn't it too late? Wouldn't that parts of that Memphis scene be already activated if the rumors are true about possibly Yo Gotti and Pooh Shiesty and Pooh Shiesty's dad being tired of Gucci Man because they both was arrested, but I think they let Pooh Shiesty's father go, so he could be home already now. I mean, is it too late though? Isn't that still already open?
I think it's talking about blowing over from this action though. Because let's be real. This saying that most of this shit, it's one violent act, another shit gets escalated, and it just keeps escalating and it keeps escalating, right? The reason why I said he's old now, it's the same reason why Jay-Z keep changing his clothes. I will give this to Jay-Z. Jay-Z changed his clothes because he changed his clothes so many times. He got the song called Change Clothes so he don't be caught up in this at 69. All right? Gucci Mane is not necessarily as transformative as Jay-Z, so Gucci Mane ain't gonna he ain't gonna go to the Fox Theater and talk about art gallery and shit like that. Gucci Mane like being around the Pooh Shiesties or the other ones that are like 17, 18-year-old hot niggas out of Memphis. Talking about the blickies and the long sticks and all this other stuff with the Dracos, and Gucci Mane could be like 45 standing next to them. Well, I think and this is what happened here with this Pooh Shiesty situation.
To be fair to Jay-Z, he be picking like street people who like are already aged up like him, like Benny the Butcher, Griselda. You don't ever see him with the young YNs. Like he had a moment where he was like in some studio and it was Dirk and it was We the Best, DJ Khaled.
And that was the last time that nigga was in there with him.
Right. But he'll show up with like a little blip of a moment with them. Like also how he helped 21 Savage remain in the United States. Yeah. But he don't be like investing money for them to be right underneath him. Like people laugh, but one of the greatest moves Jay-Z did was to choose a backpacker like J. Cole. Yeah. I mean, he don't have to sleep with one eye open.
No. No.
No,
J. Cole just going to say, I need my money to buy a new bike. They're going to clown Gucci behind this. This record will not make the impact that Gucci Mane is looking to make. I think he's actually probably going to be looking to buy some time with this. I think the next thing you're going to see from him, he's probably going to have an interview with Charlemagne, or he may try to show up on one of the big podcasters' couch, or he may sit down with Big Hank. There's a possibility there because, the Big Facts podcast, they're pretty good at these conversations with, Young Thug, 21 Savage.
They do a really good job with Young Thug.
But his next move after this, because this is not going to get, I can tell you right now, this is not going to be received well by the street nigga culture. His next move will be to do an interview. Now, he's probably going to try to sit down with the Breakfast Club, or he may do another one-on-one with Charlemagne, and like I said, or he may go there with Big Hank himself. But I don't feel, my personal opinion, again, I don't have a dog in this fight, okay? I still like to twerk some shit by Pooh Shiesty, and there's a lot of Gucci Mane records that I like, but I don't really listen to either one of them as much right now. But I will say this. There's not much Gucci Mane is going to be able to do in this situation. I'm just being honest with you, because this sector of rap music that this specifically placates to, this is not like Kanye West. Kanye West can go around on a Holocaust tour, and then all he has to do is make some beautiful art that appeals to a large sector of his demographic.
Hell, Hitler, cousins. Also, by the way, Cameron said he wouldn't interview Ye because Ye still hasn't explained the cousin thing, and he thinks it's weird.
What about Mace? Like, come on, Cam. Cam was a funny nigga. Let's stop that right now. Interview the nigga.
I know.
Just go on and
niggas are
interview the
crazy.
nigga.
Interview Fat Neck
Just
Ye.
interview the nigga.
I thought Cameron was capping. Because you are sitting there to pass the Maze. You said Maze had a big oily dildo on the counter while standing next to Puff in the robe or whatever he said.
He had an L word size dildo. That's what he said. All right. So like, come on, stop it now.
He said he would interview Drake though, but he said he would interview Ye. I'm like,
what?
No, yeah, I'm like,
what are we talking about?
interview both.
Yeah,
but it's his platform. He can do what he want. But to your point, yeah, the type of music that Ye does, it does give him
more room
not to be pigeonholed in any way. So yeah,
Gucci Mane, whether you guys want to like it or not, what you're witnessing right now is he's being street canceled. That's what's happening.
And he's like, here's the thing. The baby got canceled because he went beyond the streets.
Yes.
Gucci getting canceled because he never went beyond the streets.
Never went beyond the streets.
So it's an interesting game, you know.
But he was seen as the realest one.
It is harder to destroy you though when you move beyond the streets though. Yeah, in hip hop, if you like beyond just the gang banging stuff and the mafia stuff, it's really hard for people to get you. If you just only in that space, you can say whatever you want and not get canceled by like the gay community or women and stuff. But you have a limited space, number one, and two, if you go against the gang culture and all that stuff, you done for good. And then where can you go?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You
have a go-up cartoon?
Look, listen, I'm sure if he's been able to make the money that he's been able to do, and again, most of the money that Gucci Mane makes is outside of music, so it's not like it's not like he's going to be in a situation where he's going to be like bankrupt in Georgia. But as far as his repertoire and the mythology, you're witnessing Gucci Mane being demythologized right now. And that usually happens. As we pointed out with Carlito's Way, it transferred from Carlito Brigante to Benny Blanco. And Benny Blanco Shiesty just did a humiliation ritual of embarrassing Gucci Mane. And he really don't have to say anything. Pooh Shiesty really don't have to give another interview, because the more he's silent, the more he doesn't say anything, the realer he appears in general. And again, this is just how it operates with this form of rap music. So it is what it is.
Too.
Yeah, he did.
Also, by the way, guys, when I said that, it's because I'm reading it from my mixtapes. I do not know who Big 30 is.
Sid don't know who that is.
I don't know who Big 30 is.
If she recognizes, she'll see him.
Gucci Mane calls out Pooh Shiesty and Big 30. If I would have went with it, they would have been like, Sid knows who Big 30 is.
Nah, she don't. She don't know who that is, niggas. She probably saw him and didn't know it was him. Okay.
It looked like the same guy who patched it up with Young Thug. They both look alike. What's his name? With Young Thug and the other guy in Atlanta who patched it up?
Oh, YFN.
Yeah, don't they look alike?
Yeah, they go to the same barber.
Yeah, they got the same haircut, face, same shape and everything.
Yeah, they got it's a style that you pick it up on. But, Big 30, to me, he looks a little goofier in the face, though. He looks like a Humpty Dumpty cartoon. All right. But, yeah, of course, Gucci Mane is going to be doing that. But I actually think at this point in time, I think the next thing that Gucci Mane is going to do is an interview, or probably at the most he's going to do maybe 2 rounds of interviews to see if he can at least humanize himself right now. So I think that's about it. As for the track, I don't think it's necessarily sonically a terrible track, but looking at the art, the single art, and what Gucci's known for, of course, people wanted him to go harder than that. So because he didn't, they're going to say he's a snitch, he's a bitch, this, that, and third. And the new street nigga king/prince right now from behind bars will be Pooh Shiesty, ladies and gentlemen. And if he's ever found to be able to hit the streets and hit the studio, that's going to be a lot of clout for him, okay?
And the part 2 to this will be on our Patreon, where we're asking the question, can Gucci Mane survive from this like Rick Ross did? People are calling Gucci Mane Officer Gucci Mane. People call Rick Ross Officer Ricky Ross. We will answer that question on the Patreon, not here, on the Patreon. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys take care. We love you all. We out.
And I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow.
Oh my God, what's this?
And I sing happy. And I sing happy. And I sing happy. And I sing
We are all the same. We are all the same. More group
Coming through your airwaves. All right, now I'm here to kick the ballistics. Check out Thought Crimes. Are you following me? Coming through your airwaves. Coming through your airways. You ain't gonna get me with that one.